So I've always been a person to enjoy strength training, and while I've had moments in my life that I have had a gym membership, I can say that I think ultimately at this point in my life, I'm not a gym person. Even with included kid care, driving 20 minutes across town one way made going to the gym a 2-hour process for a 1 hour and 20-minute lift. Now, I haven't been to the gym in a couple of years, and since then I've invested in some home equipment, primarily a bunch of sand kettlebells and resistance bands, things that are relatively easy to work with but do have some limitations. While I can target most major muscle groups, I can't seem to find exercises that work with the equipment I have. Exercises that target specific muscles like the hamstrings and adductors have been hard to do without the proper equipment. Not to mention, getting cardio in at home usually required that I take my rear wheel off my gravel bike and mounted it to the Wahoo kicker. Of course, not the biggest inconvenience, but still a bother when you want to ride that bike outside as well. With all this being said, Speediance kindly requested I check out some of their at-home gym products, and I was very quickly interested in what they had to offer. So full disclosure, I did not have to pay for these items and did receive them for the purpose of review and testing. So they sent over their indoor bike trainer, the Speediance Velonix. The Velonix was relatively easy to set up and instructions were clear for assembly. The Velonix offers an indoor bike trainer experience that is primarily ran through a fully electric drivetrain. One thing I do like about this, being a father of nearly a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, is the safety of this drivetrain. When I've had my bike on the Wahoo kicker, I was very concerned with their safety when riding the bike, or even as the bike is stationary, as cassette cogs and chain rings are exposed. Now, this is not a full review of these products, more so a first impressions. A couple of things that I liked on the Velonix right from the start is the comfortable bars and shifters. Unlike competitors, Speediance went with a brifter design, which makes shifting into new gears a breeze. You can also control the gradient using the secondary button on the shifters, which is also amazing. One thing to note is the brake levers don't actually move when squeezed, which isn't a huge deal, but I thought it would be a nice touch if they did to offer that on-bike experience. The screen is a welcomed addition to a cardio machine, as when I did indoor bike training before, I would have to use my iPad and set it up on a desk or a stand. Having one less step to worry about before a cardio session is nice. On the screen, you can access your favorite apps, things like Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, YouTube, and more. And for those of you that are into Zwifting, the Velonix is 100% compatible with Zwift, so you'll be good to go there. One of the other benefits that I wanted to point out is the fit and adjustments that the Velonix offers. I'm 5'10" and can ride the bike no problem, and if my wife, who's considerably smaller than I am, wanted to ride, all she has to do is adjust the saddle height and the reach relative to the bars. She can also adjust the bars, but we do use the same bar position. This is something that I could never do with the Wahoo kicker, as we both ride very different sizes for bikes, and of course one can make the argument that you can just swap group sets onto her bike and have a similar group set that is compatible with the kicker, but that does come at an extra cost, and you also might have two different people wanting different group sets on their bike for their preferences. You're also spending more time changing from one bike to another, whereas adjusting the seat and height on the Velonix is pretty easy and fast. For this reason, I went ahead and added my flip-flop pedals so someone can use the trainer with regular shoes and I can use my SPDs without a problem. That is all that I'll say on the Velonix for now. Stay tuned for the full review coming up in the next months. So let's move on to the Speediance Gym Monster 2, this machine behind me. This machine was sent to me in quite the package, 3 huge boxes, but the actual machine is quite small and will take up a very small footprint in your home or apartment. The primary bulk of the boxes comes from the supplied bench and rower if you opt to go for the package including those 2 items. The rower takes a little bit of time to build, but the actual Gym Monster 2 is very much a plug and play device. I will say it is quite heavy to unload from the package, so I would recommend getting a second person to help you out. The Gym Monster 2 comes with a big variety of accessories to make your given workouts easier. From a squat and bench barbell, individual dumbbell grips, tricep pull-down rope, and even ankle straps to target those specific leg muscles that I was talking about earlier. The package that was sent to me was the Family's Plus package, which comes with so many accessories, I haven't had the chance to try them all out, as this is my first impressions video. The Gym Monster 2, much like the Velonix, has a ton of guided workouts which walk you through the steps of each lift if you have no idea where to start. As this is my first impressions, I have not opted to go with the guided workouts and have gone with the free lift option available. The Gym Monster 2 has the ability to match every exercise that I was using my kettlebell or bands for, and then some. One of my favorite things about the Gym Monster 2 is the included Bluetooth ring. I thought this was more of a gimmick item as an add-on, but now I couldn't see myself working out without it. See, the ring lets you change the weight you are carrying on each lift and activate the weight right from the ring. You see, the system works with direct drive motors applying the resistance for the weights. So for plenty of exercises, you'll want to start with the weights turned off, grab the handles or the barbell and place them where you want, and with a single tap of the ring's button, the weight turns on. Say for example, you're doing squats and have the bar up. You won't want to reach for the screen to activate the weights, as it will apply a tremendous force on the side you are reaching with. So by activating the weights with a ring, you can start the workout without reaching towards the screen. Now the same can be done on the opposite end of your workout or set, to where you can turn the weights off. So instead of reaching for the screen when you are fatigued after a set of lifts, you can quickly tap the ring and the weights turn off, which allow you to move the bar comfortably to the floor. The ring also comes with a safety feature, so once the weights are turned on, you won't be able to shift the weight volume, so you won't accidentally tap the ring and increase your pounds on each weight or decrease them. So that is a nice touch that Speediance has added. Just like the Velonix, one of my favorite features of the Gym Monster 2 is the versatility of the machine itself. I'm able to get a great workout in with whatever weights I want, and my wife or a guest in the house can also get a great workout in, even if they lift heavier or lighter weights. One thing to note is that the machine has a total weight limit of 220 pounds, so meaning using both sides of the machine. So you can squat up to 220 pounds, bench up to 220 pounds, or lift a single-handed dumbbell up to 110 pounds on each side. For my particular use case, this offers all the weight I need and then some tremendous room for growth as I step up in weight on specific exercises. This is important too, as I was using kettlebells. Whenever you accomplish a lift with those and you have to step up in weight, if you don't have the kettlebell, you either have to purchase the kettlebell or add kettlebells to your exercise to achieve the weight you desire. Now again, this is not my full review on either of these items, so I will leave it at that. One thing I did want to point out is that I have received many items for review over the years, and this is only the second time my wife has been stoked to try out what we have. Let me know if you have any questions on either the Velonix or the Gym Monster 2 by Speediance, and I will do my best to try and answer them in the full review of each product. Thanks again to Speediance for supplying these items and taking my home gym game up a level. See you guys in the next one. Peace.